Lots of people suggesting I move to the 4-3-3 in the comments from yesterday. So my next question for you, because I haven't done it yet, because I'm very afraid, because usually when I have a season when I mess around with tactics, they're the seasons I get relegated in. So let me know, when doing a front three, what combination of players do I need? Because I'm presuming the defensive forward with two attacking forwards I tried yesterday probably isn't the most efficient way to line him up. Let me know down in the comments how to set up a front three effectively. Hello and welcome to part 121 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have two championship matches. We're at home against Norwich and away against West Brom. Since you were last with me, we've settled nicely into our inconsistent form that we've been known so well for over the last few seasons. So we rather helpfully got ourselves knocked out of the Carabao Cup, which is good. We don't want to be in that nonsense. Then picked up a draw against Huddersfield, beat Burton but lost against bottom of the table Sheffield Wednesday, and then beat Birmingham. The Birmingham result is significant because it goes against our usual way of form thing. Words, Kev, remember, words, because we won an away game. So in my mind, that cancels out losing at home on the first day of the season. And we're now back to our nice mid-table form that we're looking for, where we've won our home games, drawn some of the away games. That's fine. If we keep that system going throughout today's episode, we'll be absolutely fine. This is how the league table looks. I know it's still very early on in the season, but it's important to have a little look. We are sat nicely, comfortably in 9th place. Obviously, what we don't want is a couple of defeats here to ruin everything. But West Brom, interestingly, rock bottom. Norwich also below us in the league. So this is the team that we're putting out there for today. We've got Hugo in goal. A back four of O'Brien, Sawyer, Taggart and King. We've been using this quite a lot with, where is he? Morris King. Although we've signed him as a centre-back, I love Joshua Sawyer. And Morris King is actually probably a better right-back than any of our other right-backs. King and Sawyer are our two best right backs. Those two we signed in the summer are a bit rubbish. Obviously, the disadvantage of it is that he's a centre back playing at right back. He's not going to offer us the width and the attacking threat on this side that we'd hoped for. Certainly no kind of replacement for Ibrahim, but you never know. He might actually provide us with a little bit more defensive stability. I have been toying with the idea of just slapping him on defensive fullback and thinking, right, we've basically got a back three when O'Brien pushes on. Denny moves out into these areas, and we almost become like a 3-4-3 when we're going forward. But tactics, I don't understand them. So who knows if that's a sensible idea. We've also got a little bit of a problem with Hayden Sheridan because he's got ideas above his station. He wanted to leave to go to Moneybag Swindon on deadline day, and the only way he'd agree not to kick up a fuss was if I offered him a new contract as a key player. So he's now a key player, but not as good as O'Brien. So that's going to be problematic as the season goes on. And also Dan Fisher has done the infamous, I think I've gone as far as I can with this club chat, and is asked to leave. We agreed that we'd accept any offers over £1.5 million. Obviously, we're going to get nowhere near £1.5 million for a 29-year-old who, he's a League One striker. A good League One striker, a very good League Two striker. But League One teams generally don't have £1.5 million to spend on a striker. So it's now in doubt whether or not Dan Fisher is going to break the record or whether it's going to be on Chris Ruggles to push on and take the record for himself. Other records that are very close to being broken. 408 is Joe Anderson's appearance record. This is going to be James Ball's 407th appearance for us. He was absolutely outstanding in his last game. So hopefully he can continue that kind of form and show me why we don't need to be thinking in terms of 4-3-3 because James Ball is still the man. So the midfield is Lenton, Barron and Denny with Ball in behind Ruggles and Wheatley. Not really seen anything from Sean Hull so far. He did play in the cup game and has come off the bench a couple of times. I've not been that impressed. But then I wasn't that impressed with Kent Wheatley this time last year, and he's been very good this season. We've actually played him quite a lot as an attacking midfielder while both Ball and Richardson have been injured. Yeah, that's right. Ball and Richardson have been injured, and I've been playing as a striker as an attacking midfielder. That's how afraid I am of changing the tactic and going to a 4-3-3 and just breaking everything. Because I could have just as easily pushed Wheatley a little bit further forward to join the front three properly. But I didn't, because I don't know how to do a front three. I've never got it working properly. I know it's supposed to be overpowered, but in all my years playing Football Manager, I have never managed to get a flat front three, all strikers, firing on all cylinders, other than the famous exploit from a few years ago of just make all three of them complete forwards on attack. That one worked quite well, but I'm not going to... It probably doesn't work anymore, and if it does, it's still an exploit. It's just silly. Right, here we go. We've got King intercepting in that right-back position that he's now becoming more and more accustomed to as time goes on. We do still need to sign a right-back. We didn't bring anyone else in before the transfer deadline, so we have got a little bit of wiggle room in the wage budget because we sold one of our youngsters, some winger I'd never heard of. We got 100 grand from QPR for, so I guess he was actually quite good, and we probably should have got more money for him, but we just needed money, any money coming in. I think they probably knew it too, and we were never going to give this winger an opportunity, so it made sense to move him on in the hope that it gave us a little bit of transfer budget, but it didn't. We got like 7 grand out of a £100,000 sale, so we've effectively got no retained transfer revenue at the moment, which is why we're not that desperate to push someone like Dan Fisher or Peter Anderson out the door, who are both players I've speculated about selling in recent episodes. Right, we've had a decent-ish start. We're keeping possession nicely. We're not really creating very much in that first 20 minutes or so, but hopefully that's just us feeling our way into the game, getting ready to push on and grab 8 goals in the second half. Denny with a big ball over the top. Ruggles was there to chase, but didn't really chase hard enough. And Norwich now start to build from the back, but Taggart dominantly heads it forward to Lenton, and it's with ball to Wheatley. Denny, we're knocking the ball around nicely again. Wheatley, Ruggles, Chris Ruggles. I think that's number 5 for the season already for Chris Ruggles. He is in pretty good goal scoring form to start this season off. I know he started last season very brightly as well. It seems to be the way Chris Ruggles plays, but I'm hoping now he's a little bit older and now he's a full-time permanent Nuneaton player, that this might be the year we finally push Chris Ruggles on to 30 goals in a season. It would probably make sense to look to start playing him in his correct position at some point, because he's still playing as a target man on support, whereas actually he's an advanced forward who we just play back there because he's so good he can do that too. But I guess that would be another advantage of moving to a 4-3-3, because then we could play Ruggles a little bit more attackingly and drag a few more goals out of him. That was a ball forward aiming for Ruggles, but it didn't get anywhere near him, and now Norwich are on the counter-attack, and O'Brien misses the tackle, and now we're in trouble. I don't even know who that is coming across the track, but he didn't get there. The cross comes in, and it's 1-1, and we've been hit on a counter-attack because we're Nuneaton, and that's what happens to us. I don't know who this is chasing back. He's tiny, whoever he is. Barron never really got anywhere near, did he? And then whoever that is that Taggart? Can't even click on him. I think that's Taggart, yeah. Taggart maybe should have done a little bit better, but he's made such an improvement to our defence over the course of the last year. It's hard to ever be critical of him because Tommy Taggart is a hero, and he's the reason we won't get relegated this year. There you go, although Sawyer, wild challenge that he's lucky he didn't connect with either man or ball for, but Norwich fire wide. Looks like we've got time for one more attack before the half-time whistle. It's with Lenton to ball out to Denny. This is Denny's first appearance of the season. It's a beautiful cross onto the head of Ruggles, and it hits the crossbar and bounces out for a goal kick. But Denny started the season with a little bit of a knock. We all know the score with Alex Denny. It's knock central, but he is getting an opportunity to play today, and he has looked bright. He is probably the most natural and most accomplished mezzala that we've got in the squad, which is a key player for us. And it's a little bit, I mean, we've still never really adequately replaced Andrew Skelton in that position, who is now slumming it down in League One for Derby, by the way, and unhappy. He's requested a transfer with them, but they want £5 million for him, so he ain't coming here. But Denny spent most of his career playing as a defensive midfielder, and now in his 30s, he comes to Nuneaton and realises he's a superb attacking player. Ball tries to play Wheatley in, but he couldn't quite get hold of it. And it's now with Sawyer forward to Ruggles, who's dropped very, very deep and couldn't find Ball. And Wheatley, he doesn't quite chase down the keeper the way a Stainsby would in that position. Wheatley's dropped very, very deep as well for the advance forward. Maybe we swap those two over. Denny back to King, and it's with Barron. King's pushed forward, which he's not really comfortable doing. But, you know, he has to. And it's James Ball, and it's his second game of the season and his second goal of the season. James Ball, he wants to celebrate setting the appearance record in style, because we're talking about Ruggles breaking the goal record. I imagine if we take Dan Fisher out of the equation, which we effectively have to now, because I don't see him getting any game time in the league, James Ball is over 100 goals at this point. So he's probably closer than Ruggles. And if he carries on scoring at the rate he's scored so far this season, he might break the record. It's very unlikely James Ball breaks the goal scorer record. But he will get the appearance record. Hopefully. It won't be in the next match because that'll just equal it. But the one after that you won't see, we'll just send him a certificate in the post. It'll be fine. Hugo makes a save, and it was a weird save because it pushed the ball back into the path of the Norwich striker, but we just about got away with it a little bit there. Looking at the stats as well, I think we're absolutely mugging Norwich as well, but we're not going to complain. We don't really mind when we're the ones doing the mugging. It's okay in that situation. Right, Wheatley's not played very well. We're going to bring on Afsharian, who has looked lively. I'm surprised that he's still in and around the squad, but when he's played this season, he has looked fairly lively. Or was it hang about? He's not played at all. Oh, there you go. He was good against Crawley. Why haven't I played him since? I'm an idiot. He looked really good in that Crawley game. And, I guess because he was playing back with teams at his level. Let's get Sawyer off as well. We can't bring Sawyer off because we don't have anyone to come on at right back or centre back. So Sawyer's going to stay on. King has to stay on because of the same reasons. This is an opportunity, though, to get Hayden Sheridan on and get him some game time. And probably leave it at that for now. Sheridan, it's a difficult one because he is still showing as our hottest prospect as a club. He's still got 5-star potential, even with his 3-star ability. He's still quite young. He is a player who we do need to give game time to, but how much game time do you give him? Because he's not as good as O'Brien. Right, last substitution, we are going to take off... I don't really want to take off Denny. Let's take off Barron. It feels wasteful taking off Alex Denny when we've got the opportunity to use him. On the flip side of that, obviously, it makes sense to take him off before he breaks himself. But he's playing so well today that I'd rather just keep him on and risk breaking him because he's probably going to break down in training tomorrow regardless. Hugo collects from there. Norwich have had 2 clear-cut chances to our big fat 0, but we don't care because we're winning the match and that's all that matters. Taggart tries to lump it forward towards, I think it was towards James Ball, but it didn't get anywhere near. But Ball does win it back here, plays the ball free to Afsharian, and Afsharian with the chance to grab his first league goal of the season. It fell to Ruggles, but their defender got in first. And hopefully that's that. We don't want any more highlights now. I know there's potentially almost 10 minutes of play left in the game, but we'd quite happily just hear the final whistle now because we'd like a win. Allen with the cross falls to Sawyer, was it? No, it's Alex Denny. There you go. Kev's a genius for keeping Denny on the pitch. Sawyer nodded down. Alex Denny fires into the bottom corner, and that should put the game beyond doubt. And also, and I'm going to say it a little bit earlier this season, it moves us into the playoff positions, which, we are still, for as long as we're waiting for the new ground to be built, we're still happy being a mid-table championship team. But if we find ourselves in a situation when we're flirting with the playoffs a little bit, we won't be offended if we get promoted a year or two early and have to go and play at Coventry or Birmingham for a couple of years. That's fine. We don't have to wait for the new ground. We're just happy if we end up waiting for the new ground because with a 6,000 capacity, we don't expect to be getting promoted from this league. But let's go play West Brom, who are no longer bottom. So I guess they're going to be all happy and in form and stuff, so they'll probably thump us. But it's away from home. Who cares? Just the one change for the West Brom game, then Hayes comes in for Lenton for no particular reason, really, other than the fact that Levi Hayes hasn't had a huge amount of games, and Lenton's had one more, I think. And we've got a lot of good midfielders. We need to rotate them a little bit. Denny's going to be injured again soon, and Lenton and Hayes can both be part of the same midfield. At that point, Sheridan comes in at left-back as well, because... got to get him his game time too, with O'Brien dropping down to the bench. I wish we could play 2 left-backs. If only there was a tactic that involved multiple players down the left-hand side that we could try. Alas, no such tactic exists. So we are away from home. We do expect to lose because we're away from home, but West Brom have had a poor start to the season, although they did win their last game. And we did win our previous away game away against Birmingham. So if... and it's a big if we could pull off a result today, it would be our 3rd win on the bounce and would get this season close to being as good a start as we had last season. And obviously the great start we had last season was a major contributing factor towards the the whole season going rather easily, really. We didn't have to worry about media pressure or board pressure at any point. On that note, the media are predicting that we're going to finish just outside the relegation zone this year. So they're predicting a 21st place finish. That's the one above relegation, isn't it? And the board are looking for us to avoid a relegation battle. So it's no longer battle bravely against relegation. They now want us to not be involved in the relegation picture. So there's a little bit more pressure than we've had previously. Certainly more pressure than we had in our second season in the Championship last time, where the board said, yeah, just try not to get relegated again, but if you do, don't worry. If it all does go wrong and we get relegated this season, there's a chance I could get sacked this time, because I guess the board would be of a view of, yeah, he's tried this twice now. He's clearly never going to keep us in the Championship. Let's try somebody else, although it would make sense for them to let me get promoted first. James Ball has just made it 3 in 3 in the game that he equals the record for appearances for Nuneaton. He has now played as many games for this football club as Joe Anderson did. One more. And then we have a new record holder who is scoring goals for fun at the moment as well. And just saying to you, well, look, 4-3-3 my eye. This is the James Ball show. I play an attacking midfield. We're going to keep playing a 4-3-1-2. And I'm going to keep scoring every game until you stop speculating about dropping me from the entire tactic. Not just from the team. It's not just the Albert Richardson threat that he's had for the last 2 or 3 years. This is potential talk of changing the entire tactic, so there's no room for James Ball. And he doesn't like the sound of that, so he's just going to keep scoring goals, which is fine by me. Hayden Sheridan's picked up a yellow card fairly early on in the game. If he gets himself sent off, that's going to be no way towards guaranteeing himself game time. Ball, if he'd have scored again, I don't know what I'd have done. I'd have become all flustered. Leeds have been in and around the Championship for years, as far as I know. I don't know how they've had such a spectacular start. And what a turnaround for Brighton, who were rock bottom of the Championship in the January transfer window last year, when, if you recall, they spent £26 million on a goalkeeper. They spent £100 million on players last season. So you would expect with £100 million worth of player, they should be able to get out of this league. They had got relegated from the Premier League the year before, but they only secured safety in the Championship last season with like 2 games to go by playing us. I think was the game they secured safety. But for them to be up there pushing for promotion again shows that whoever came in as their manager for the second half of the season made the right signings and turned the team around, because they were a disaster for the first half of the season. And West Brom have equalised. Hugo, probably not the best positioning there. But we're not going to question him because he's our number one. He's our keeper. We're going to Robbie Nadak Lee Hugo now for the next few years. I'm playing him regardless for at least the next 3 seasons. We are going to watch him fulfil some of this potential, because already sat at 3 stars. 3-star current ability is the best goalkeeper I've ever been able to find. If he even adds half a star to that, he immediately becomes the greatest goalkeeper in the history of this football club, if he's not already there already. And there will be no way to find a better keeper. King's just done brilliantly to intercept that, but then it's really poor distribution. But Ball picks it up deep in the midfield, finds Ruggles. Ruggles across to Denny, who's very far forward, and now Barron. Through to Ball, back to Hayes, to Barron. Look at this. We knocked the ball around really nicely at times, but West Brom have intercepted, and it's now 2-on-2, although Hayden Sheridan's got back, made the tackle, but got himself sent off in the process. So, saved us a goal. He got himself sent off though, but at least we don't have to worry about picking him in the next game. O'Brien can come back in at that point. Right, Kent Wheatley's had a really poor game. Is he the man who makes way for O'Brien to come on? I think he probably is. See, this is responsible away from home, just going to 1 up front now, and it does mean we can try Ruggles in his preferred position as well. I worry a little bit playing an advanced forward up front on their own that he could get very, very isolated, but hopefully Ball can fill some of the gap behind him, because he's playing on an attacking instruction as well. So we've seen how far forward he gets, and he's not been shy scoring goals recently, has he? But we don't really want to go to a 2-man midfield, which is the only way we could keep 2 men up front, or a 3-man defence. That seems silly too. So I guess doing that is our only option, although it's taken me 10 seasons to realise that. Right, let's make another. Ruggles isn't having a particularly good game either. But then neither is Alex Denny, and Alex Denny's shattered. So let's get Lenton on for him. We did talk about how Lenton and Hayes would get to play together soon. Well, here they are playing together. I think Barron's the best option for there. And Lenton can be the Carrilero. And we'll just leave it there for 10 minutes. You know how the substitutions go. We'll see how we are in 10 minutes. We should probably drop back to standard, actually. Which, it pains me to do that, but with only one striker up, it seems silly to continue trying to control the game, unless, of course, West Brom score, and we have to bring on another striker to try and get back into it. But we're happy just sitting there on standard. A 1-1 will be a perfect result in the circumstances now, with us being down to 10 men, unless we can draw a red card out on one of them. And I'm kind of reluctant to make that final substitution until we see how the rest of the game pans out, because if they score, I want to be able to bring on a striker. If we score, we'll just freshen some legs up. I always said, we'll bring on a defender, but you've met me. You know I ain't bringing on a defender. What a save from Lee Hugo. But the follow-up, he's tucked away. Offside, maybe? No offside there? Feels like there probably should have been some offside. Let's have a look at the replay. I mean, it smells of offside here, unless he's run from very deep to tuck this rebound away. So let's have a look. Was it him with the initial shot? And he was, yeah, okay. Okay, I'll allow it. Right. We need to bring on a striker then. Ruggles has been awful, but we're not going to take him off. What we are going to do, I'm tempted to take off O'Brien and just go to a back three with the 3 centre-backs, but that's going to ruin Darragh O'Brien. So maybe, have we got anyone who can play... Sam Allen can play right midfield and defence. Sam Allen could effectively sit there and be a wing-back, but why would we bring someone on to play wing-back when we're trying to attack? That would be stupid. So let's bring on... I want to get Afsharian or Stainsby on. I think Afsharian's probably the man who's coming on. Full Levi Hayes. And all that talk of doing something fancy. And we've just gone back to what we know. So, you go on support. We're now going to go to control. We're going to try and get an equaliser. And if we do get an equaliser, we're going to have no idea what to do then. Because we'll have too many attacking players on the pitch at that point. But... we've got to try and get a point out of the game. There's no point settling for a 2-1 defeat. That's crazy talk. That's a terrible back pass from Lenton, but Hugo luckily isn't under any pressure and humps it forward towards James Ball, who is never going to win that in the air. He's James Ball. And big ball over the top, and it's 3-1. And I guess that's the issue, going down to 10 men and then trying to chase the game. You're always going to leave yourself open at the back. And with only a 2-man midfield... there's not much we could do about this, really. We were gambling on grabbing another goal. At this point, probably a sensible manager drops back a little bit now and thinks there's no point chasing this now. Let's just not lose 5-1. But, 5-1, Schmeive-1. We'll win enough games scoring 6, 7 or 8 goals. We don't need to worry about conceding a few here. Goal difference has never been a problem of ours. I don't think it's going to start being a problem this season. Right, ball picks it up very deep. It's with Barron. Afsharian turned so slowly there. That was ridiculous. And Sawyer wins it back again. He's on a yellow card and needs to be a little bit careful, but I don't think he's going to get another booking from just winning a header. Taggart with a dominant header and a slide tackle. Tommy Taggart is a hero, and I thought that was number 4. I would feel very hard done by losing this game 4-1. Despite the fact the clear-cut chances stats say that actually would be quite fair. They've had 4 clear-cut chances. Hugo, what are you doing? Just because I've put my faith in you forever, that doesn't mean you get to start doing stupid things. He did deal with it okay in the end, though. And West Brom are coming at us again. This 2-man midfield is proving to be a mistake. And the clear-cut chances are not telling the whole story, because so many of them have come since Sheridan got sent off. Afsharian with the corner. It falls to James Ball. And now with Lenton across to Barron in loads. What a goal from Tony Barron. That was spectacular. That is the second time this season we've had a wow genius by Barron appear at the bottom of the screen in the commentary. But this, I mean, he has got spectacular goals in him. Look at the state of that. Hit first time on the half volley. I mean, that's a match-winning goal that in the end we're still going to lose. But it deserves to be a match winner because it was that good. And they're now going to grab their 4th, aren't they? Oh, my word. Oh, my word. I was already with my speech of shame it was too late. There's no time for another goal. West Brom proving me wrong. There was time for another goal. It relied on a team not playing any defenders, though. I talk about Tommy Taggart being a hero, but he just stopped there and let that guy run past him. That's what you get for having a hero who's still very young and inexperienced. He's going to make terrible, terrible mistakes sometimes. And are we going to go and make it 4-3 now and make things utterly ridiculous? Afsharian out to O'Brien. We might just do that, you know, because we are ridiculous. But no, they've intercepted. And that surely is it. If they go and grab number 5 now, I'm going to vomit all over my microphone because that would just be hideous. But Hugo does collect. And that has been, I mean, across those 2 games, I think you've had a very Kev episode, haven't you? None of that would have been particularly unexpected for any of you. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.